Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Series Retro Vintage Spider-Man Wave 2. This is the Spider Armor Mark 1, a huge fan favorite that people have been wanting for so long. Spider Armor Mark 1, aka Billy Moon Spider Armor. So I forget when the live stream was, but it was one of the fan first Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Fridays, whatever day it was. That the Marvel Legends panel, the Marvel Legends team, Dwight, Ryan, and Dan announced this figure. Everyone was very excited and even gave a shout out to Billy Moon, member of the Tuesday crew. And I think it's Jeffrey H on Twitter. Jeffrey Harris, I think. I could be wrong on that. I'm trying to remember exactly. But those guys, they really wanted it and really pushed for it with Dan. Dan heard them, the Marvel team heard them, and we have it. Now, it's kind of bittersweet. This is an awesome figure, one that I've wanted. I had the Toy Biz figure when I was a kid for the animated series. He had a brief appearance in the animated series, I think maybe 2 episodes or whatever. It's like a richer version of Spider-Man, and he uses the armor. In the animated series comic, it was different, but very, very cool to have this. However, this is 100% a Gamerverse design. This is the suit design from the Spider-Man PS4 game. Not a doubt in my mind that that's what it is. They changed the artwork on the package to kind of reflect the armor from the game, but kind of make it look like the old comic version. But without question, it is the video game design. So I have here all the Spider-Man Gamerverse figures, which I will show and do some comparisons with, because again, this might be marketed as a comic figure, not even an animated series figure, because these aren't all technically animated series, with some exceptions. Black Cat, I will agree with everybody on Black Cat that one probably was, but this one is not. This is a Gamerverse figure, so just keep that in mind. We get interchangeable hands, so fists out in the package on the figure, and then whip hands, and then he has these 2 web effects. Keep in mind, the 2 other Gamerverse figures, right, these 2, guess what these 2 were packed in with? Extra web effects, just like that, right? Not the same ones, but different ones, but they both had web effects. So there is another clue that this is a Gamerverse design. So the call out there says web splat. So we have 2 web splats there, but looking awesome. I love the retro card back. Looking at the back of the package, we get the artwork. The gimmick right there is swapping hands. All the figures in the wave. So far I've gotten most of them. I still need Hobgoblin and Hammerhead. Hopefully I'll find those here in the next coming days. But the Spider Armor Mark 1, the bio reads, when Spider-Man's powers aren't enough, he dons his patented spider armor. This ceramic metal battlesuit protects Spidey from his deadliest foes, giving him the time he needs to take it to the bad guys. So there we go. Pretty cool. Oh, the other thing I'd like to point out, in the game, it wasn't so much shiny, or it had some kind of shine, but it was almost like a black armor. They did give it the silver on here, so I guess that would kind of make it not really the Gamerverse style, if that makes sense. But the design itself is Gamerverse. But anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get this thing off of the card. Okay, and here is the Spider Armor Mark 1 figure out of the package, and he's a really good one. Pinless elbows, pinless knees, all new 100% sculpt. The spider effects, not the spider effect, the web effects are pretty nice. A really, 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 really nice addition. One that we really needed. I don't even mind that it's not the comic version, because it looks really damn good. The only thing that would set this figure apart from or which would take this one to the next level, is if they had like vac metal or something to really bring out the chrome look of the figure. But I do love the silver metallic color that they actually used on the figure. I'm glad that we got a nice silver paint on it instead of just a gray color or a silver like plastic that I hate. But it looks really damn good. And of course here you can kind of see I'm trying to recreate that cover where it shows the spider armor, but I can't get a piece of web in his hands unless I did something like that, I guess. But yeah, really, really nice figure. So let's get it off of the stand and we'll take a look at it. But first, let's take a closer look at the accessories. Okay, so the accessory pieces here, we have one of these web splats, as you can see there. So it's not perfectly flat or anything like that. We kind of have a little bit of designs. You kind of get a little bit of that indent kind of, ooh, that little indent there. But that looks really good. We get this other smaller one, a little bit more rounded, I guess. A little bit of an indent, so it's not super flat either there, but that looks really good. Like the way that came out looking. And then we get the additional interchangeable hands. So again, out of the package, or in the package, he has fists, and then here we have whipping hands. And as you can see, there's some really cool detail in the sculpt of the suit. So look at those lines around the fingers. So a lot of textured detail. And again, the texture is another clue that it's a Gamerverse design. Whereas normal comic book figures, you don't get so much of the texture. You get a lot of smooth suits and that type of thing, but some really nice texturing going on here, so that is really cool. But now let's take a closer look at the Spider Armor figure. Okay, so here's an up-close look at the Spider Armor figure, and he looks really good. One thing on mine that seems kind of weird is the lenses aren't like a nice, like, shiny black color, I guess. See in the back of the head, the padding, the suit itself is a nice little shine to it. The lenses have a very flat black look to it. And I don't know if that's because it's painted over whatever cast color of plastic this was. It looks a little funky and almost looks like, you know, it was brushed on. They kind of missed a spot there. But it looks pretty good. It's just kind of weird seeing it kind of flat. I would have preferred kind of a shinier black color, I think. And I don't know, maybe it would have looked bad, you know, but I think I would have preferred that. But it does look really good. Looking at the armor, look at the shininess right there on the back. You could just see kind of the reflection of light and color into that back spider armor piece. That is 100% Gamerverse design on that back piece there as well. But man, this thing just came out great. Oh, I love this figure. I love the fact that we get pinless, right? How ugly would it have been to see some black pins in there? Because you know they would have done black. Man, really good. Again, pinless knees. But look at all the texture detail in the suit. All the line work and everything. Screams Gamerverse. There. The feet. And we don't get a silver bottom like on the comic. Just looks really good. Spider logo looks nice there. Pretty minimal paint, as it's just black plastic and then that silver paint on some of those areas. But what we get, man, it really works nicely. Just really good. Let's pop off one of these fists. Let's get the whip hand in there. I do that wrong hand because I can't tell my left and right apparently. Hand looks like a good size. A lot of times sometimes we get these whip hands and the hands end up looking a little too big. I think it works out fairly well here. No issues there. Yeah, really, 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 really nice. Really loving this figure. But how does he move, you ask? Let's check out his articulation now. Okay, let's see how Spider Armor can move. The head is on a dumbbell joint. No! So he's only going to look down that much. He's only going to look up that much. So, oh, fail. Dumbbell joint looks good because, yes, it does give a more natural neck movement look. But then we get the issues of he can't look up. So, oh, that kind of sucks. Not the end of the world or anything, I know, but it sucks. Full rotation, some crazy pivot going on that you can do. You get the arm to go straight on out, not really up any higher than that. Full rotation, of course, upper bicep swivel in there. Double jointed pinless elbow, which is great, so you get that much bend at the elbow, which is fantastic. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. We have an ab crunch where he can crunch forward that much. That's pretty damn good. He can crunch back that much. That is pretty good. Yes, there is going to be a separation in the plate design, but if you think about it, he would need a separation there to even be able to move at all. So it does make sense. And I think in the game, you can actually see where there's kind of an opening there. If it was an all metal, then, you know, web swinging would be very difficult for him to do. Waist swivel. Then legs go out that far apart, which is great. He can kick forward that much, which is good. Leg goes back quite a far ways, actually, most than any other figure. Upper thigh cut in there. Double jointed pinless knee works perfectly. Love the way that looks. Look at that nice clean bend there at the knee. That is awesome. Whoever sculpted this did a fantastic job. Foot hinges down that much. Hinge up slightly, not a whole lot. The foot is going to hit kind of the shin guard armor there. Ankle pivot, peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So butterfly joints would have been nice, but a suit of armor, maybe he wouldn't have the most mobility in there. But butterfly joints always would be welcome, of course. But he does have some good range of motion in there. The ab going down that far is a lot more than we get on a lot of other figures. So that is really good. So decent articulation. No complaints from me other than, the head. The disc hinge isn't terrible, but I mean, I get it when you look at like the neck articulation, but that's the only downfall in my opinion. He is great. Now let's see him with the other Gamerverse Spider-Man figures. Okay, so here are the Spider-Man PS4 Gamerverse figures that have released so far. The GameStop exclusive Advanced Suit, which at the time was cool, but then they released the Spider-Armor Mark III and the... I can't remember what this one was called, but Velocity Suit, the Velocity Suit. So they're cool, but of all the suits to release from the game, those two never, ever, 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 ever would have come to mind. Now, yes, there was like the 2099 suit and everything. There's technically figures of that, so you could kind of all mix it around if you want to. But these ones, I think, were odd choices. Now, this one's definitely the better figure of between those two, but Spider Armor takes it easily over the advanced suit and everything, and God, I hope we get a new advanced suit, or at least the newer version of the suit for the second game whenever that comes out. Hasbro did bless us with a Miles Morales figure from the Miles Morales game that came out. The figure came out almost a year after the game did, but we got it. And then we had the GameStop exclusive translucent version, or in his stealth mode type of thing. So we have some Spider-Man Gamerverse figures, and I would like to see more. Or if they do it, maybe they do a figure of like a comic, suit, and we can kind of fudge it around. Well, I guess the Mark III armor kind of could work that way. But I'm loving what they're doing, and the fact that this one is pinless and stuff, whereas these ones didn't get that treatment. These older ones, they had pins at the time. But yeah, I want to see more. I want to see what Hasbro can give us. But I'm happy with what they have given us so far. Even with the Velocity suit, me thinking that it's not really necessary. It's still cool to have. But I want more, and the Spider Armor is a great figure to continue doing that, whether they market it as a Gamerverse figure or not. It's definitely a great addition to this team because it's such an awesome game. If you guys have not played the Spider-Man PS4 game or the Miles Morales PS5 game, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you guys do, because both of them are just awesome games. So I would still love to continue to see more. Maybe some of the villains. That would be awesome if we can get any of the villains. So maybe one day, but yeah. Let me know what you guys think of the Spider-Verse, the Gamerverse Spider-Man figures down in the comments below. Okay, so far out of the Spider-Man Retro Wave 2, I have these two figures out of the package, Shocker and the Spider Armor, but here they are next to the Wave 1 Retro Spider-Man. And if you stick with me over the next couple of days, I will be reviewing Ben Reilly. I will also be reviewing the Symbiote Spider-Man, as I have both of those. Hopefully Hammerhead and Hobgoblin hit my local targets tomorrow or the day after, or sometime this week. I guess I'm not in the biggest rush to get them, but I am excited for those figures. I hear Hammerhead is kind of a sleeper hit of the wave. I think Shocker is really damn good, but looking at all these figures side by side, Spider Armor is kind of on the small side, but I'm going to chalk that up to it being a Gamerverse figure. So similar in the MCU vein, the movie figures tend to go a little bit smaller in scale versus the comic book stuff. So I think that's the reason why the Spider Armor figure kind of is at that size. So if you can't go back and compare him to like this figure here, you know, it's right on par, about the same size. So that kind of works, you know, hand in hand that way. So again, shout out to Billy Moon for manifesting this Spider Armor figure, putting it out in the new universe for the Hasbro Marvel team to make sure that they get us a Spider Armor figure, one that I think every single one of us would have wanted, or especially those that watched Spider-Man the animated series and that had the toy when you were a kid, because let's be honest, in the show it was such a brief appearance and didn't have necessarily have any big significance to the story of the show, but we all had that action figure and loved it, right? And now we have a new one here in 2022, the Spider Armor Mark 1 figure, and he looks fantastic. I'm sorry I didn't really show anything on what to do with these web effects. There's not a whole lot you could do other than like stick them like on a wall or something in the background. I really don't know what else you could do. You could put them on the floor and everything, and you can set up like some kind of dial if you have something, set up some kind of scenery for photography or something. And that's really what you're going to get out of these, because it's not like you can really put them onto a person, because it's not really going to stick. You know, if you do something like that, how would you really get it to stay? Now let's see if we can work it into Shocker's belt or anything, and you know, not really. So there's not a whole lot you could do here unless you have them laying down and you put the web on top of them, but it's not really going to lay right. So not sure what else you could do, but again, the Spider Armor figure is awesome regardless. Man, might be my favorite figure of the wave, but it's going to be hard to beat the symbiote Spider-Man because that's always been my favorite suit, and the new body mold is just that damn good. So I don't know if this will be my favorite figure of the wave or if it's going to be my number 2. It's going to be number 1 or number 2. We'll see when we get to Ben Reilly and the symbiote Spider-Man, but I'm not sure which one's going to take it. But awesome figure, can't wait for all of you guys to get it, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.